Hello friends, I'm NYGMA. After many dark incidents at the Cecil Hotel, the Elisa Lim case that happened in 2003 has caught my attention constantly for the last 5 years. Because there was a death involved, and people always wondered how it happened. Over the past 6 months, I've intermittently researched this topic, reading thousands of texts. I studied the hotel's floor plans, possible routes he may have taken, and researched related case reports. The subject was so mysterious that I even saw that Netflix would release a documentary after the investigations conducted to shed light on this topic. Even though the incident was documented as an accidental drowning, the background of what happened was quite strange. Seven months prior to Elisa Lam's incident, an unsuspecting guest stayed at the Cecil Hotel.
Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles.
Cecil Hotel?
After entering, they go exactly to where Elisa was, that is, to the 14th floor. While most people ask, aren't there other cameras on the hotel floors? Why aren't there any other camera recordings? These recordings were exactly answering that question, because we see that there are no cameras in the corridor right after getting out of the elevator. This actually explains why we couldn't see Elisa from different angles. Another important aspect of this video is that it was recorded before Elisa disappeared, and we can see the elevator, the inside of the room, and many details before the incident. But we still need more answers to understand what happened. For example, why did Elisa go up to the 14th floor? Because she was staying in room 412, which was on the 4th floor. Besides that, why were the security camera recordings cut? What made the incident even more mysterious, when it was already mysterious, was a movie filmed in 2002. This movie called Darkwater depicted what happened to a mother named Dahlia and her daughter named Cecilia in the apartment where they stayed. However, what Elisa experienced bears incredible similarities to what happened in this movie. At one point in the movie, a woman named Dahlia, who gets into the elevator as if she's running away from something, looks worried. In the next part of the scene, the woman leans against the corner of the elevator, just like Elisa did, in the same place and from the same point of view. Later in the movie, a woman named Dahlia enters the water tank on the roof to protect her daughter and loses her life. Besides that, the even more interesting and worrying part for me was that Elisa was wearing a black skirt, a white top, and a red garment over it, just like the person in the movie. Was this a coincidence, or was someone using Elisa in pursuit of some gains we don't know about? Maybe what Elisa wrote on her own blog page before she lost her life could give us some clues to answer these questions. Elisa had written many times on her Twitter account that she suffered from insomnia. What she wrote on her Tumblr account was also interesting. Most of her thoughts were filled with pessimism and anxiety. In some places, she complained that she didn't have any friends. In fact, in the quote she pinned on her Tumblr account, it said, "The thought that you wasted your life never leaves you alone." When you look at most of what she wrote, you can see that she was quite prone to suicide. It was revealed in the autopsy report, as her family also stated, that Elisa was taking sedatives just to cope with this. But when we look at Elisa's travel route, the 3-day check-in she made for the Cecil Hotel and the other places she planned to visit afterwards are things that caused confusion. Why would someone who wanted to commit suicide plan the rest of the trip? Or why would she choose to get into the water tank instead of jumping off the roof? Maybe the most important question was the reason behind Elisa's strange behavior. Some said she was talking to someone and explaining something, while others thought she was upset with herself for not being able to operate the elevator, and that's why she made those movements. However, a significant majority also said that she was supposedly talking to a spiritual being or was under its influence. The most important questions that came to mind when Elisa disappeared were about the interruptions in the elevator footage, the change in the autopsy report, how she managed to get onto the roof with an alarm system without being noticed, and how she closed the lid after entering the water tank where she was found. At first, everyone thought this was clearly a murder, but the situation was different from that. Elisa was laughing in a strange way at certain times in the elevator. The reason the elevator wasn't moving was because of a button she pressed to hold the elevator. A Chinese man who was curious about these things went to the hotel and checked the buttons Elisa pressed in the elevator, and he realized that the lowest button in the middle section was holding the elevator doors. After that, he tried to reach the roof and succeeded. He didn't trigger any alarm system either. Another interesting thing was that when he got to the top, the lids of the water tanks were open. Just as he climbed onto the roof easily, he didn't need a ladder to get into the water tank either, because the tanks could easily be accessed from the top.
He climbed to the lowest part of the building. From there, he could see everything on the roof, including the water tank room's roof. Actually,
what Elisa wrote explained everything. Elisa was never satisfied with her life. She had become obsessed with this. Even sleeping had become a torment for her. She was tired of being ignored. She wanted to prove her existence to people, to the whole world. Elisa had gone up to the 14th floor, even though she stayed on the 4th floor because she wanted to reach the roof. She had made plans in her mind, largely influenced by her bipolar disorder, personality disorder, and depression. She briefly considered giving up, returning to the elevator, and pressing all the buttons. At that moment, she feared being discovered, ruining her plan. Elisa was hypermetropic and wore glasses. That's why she bent over to press the buttons in the elevator from very close and felt around with her hands, thinking she saw someone. Then, after realizing there was no one around, she headed to the roof. She reached the roof from the fire escape on the 14th floor. She tried to find a way to climb onto the water tank as she had planned and saw the red ladders. He used the ladders to reach the upper part of the roof to get into the water tank. He walked slowly. He entered the water tank and lost his life. Elisa Lam adapted all the details to herself just like in the movie and ended her life in the same way. She did this especially at the Cecil Hotel, which has a dark past. Elisa's dream had come true. Now the whole world was talking about her.